Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Everything Went Black podcast. This week, Drugoth returns, along with Shograath, to discuss the brand new band, Deathorde. You guys might have heard about this band if you're listening to Into the Necrosphere. Jackie previewed a track a couple weeks ago, and I'm having the guys on to talk about the band and a bunch of other stuff additionally. If you like this show, you undoubtedly are listening to the other podcasts by the Horsemen of the Podcasting Apocalypse. And if you aren't, do yourself a favor, because we cover the entire week for you guys. Kicking things off every other Monday, Brandon Legion brings us Horror Wolf 666. On Tuesday, Jackie Smith brings us Into the Necrosphere, the greatest extreme music podcast in the land. Wednesday, of course, is Everything Went Black, along with Iblis Manifestations. Thursday is Necro Thursday, but is also day one of Soul Knocks, brought to you by Carl Hikera. Friday, Spitball Media comes at you. Saturday, well, Saturday's a day off, so go out. Spring is in the air. Have yourself some fun, because on Sunday, the Sinister Minister returns with day two of Soul Knocks. If you like this show, that's great. I really appreciate it. You know, I do this primarily as a labor of love and a way to connect with people, and it's a lot of fun to do this every week, and I appreciate anyone who listens. You can like us on Facebook, leave us reviews on Apple, but you can also join the Everything Went Black Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you get bonus content, which comes at you every week. For $5 a month, you get the bonus content plus early access to the regular shows. And for $25 a month, you can get all that stuff plus a sponsorship for whatever, your project, your band, your podcast, whatever. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me. I know that there's been like a time zone coordination that we had to do to get this to happen. And I know that Australia's got 5 different time zones. So that's pretty, do you guys live in different time zones?
Yeah. Well, we had daylight savings going for a little bit there, but that only just finished. It's like, it's so fucking weird. Like, we've got, I think it was like an hour difference. Like, and I'm literally only like 2 hours away.
Wow.
So, yeah, a little bit strange, but yeah.
And they're in half-hour increments, I think, aren't they? The time zone changes in Australia.
Oh, yeah, from like state to state sort of thing. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't understand it. Yeah.
The Deathorde, I'm gonna it's 8 songs, so I'm gonna call that an LP. What do you guys consider the Deathorde record? I know to me
it's
that's
an album.
It's an LP, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because that's like how I see it too. You know, people get funny how they define certain things. And so as of today being the 18th of April, the record it's I have the wave files, so I'm familiar with the material. And some of the songs have been premiered on different places, like Into the Necrosphere, played a track. When's the official release date of the record?
Today.
Today. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, Friday the 18th. It's Good Friday. I thought it was fitting for the release.
And now I have a multitude of questions about this project. So I'm familiar with you guys individually, your creative output, and you've also collaborated together before. And Drugoth, you've been on the podcast a couple times, and I believe this is your third outing here at Everything Went Black. So can you guys run down all your different projects and then the ones that you work on together just for the rest of the listeners who aren't so familiar with the output you guys have.
All right. Together. So it's a bit of a funny sort of situation. So Drugoth is me. I write all the guitars and the lyrics and the songs and the drums, obviously, but I can't do Drugoth without Shograath, and he's got his signature guitar style that I must have in Drugoth. So he records the guitar and gives his input, and also he's a very good vocalist. So I'd be pretty fucking stupid not to have him contribute in that department as well. And then what else we got? Shograath.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, you explain your story.
Yeah, like Shograath is it's pretty much like the same sort of deal, really. It's like I write all of the guitars, like all of the riffs and the lyrics and stuff. And Drugoth, he does all of the drums and has an input into like the lyrics and stuff as well. So it's the same kind of deal. It's like, Shograath wouldn't be able to really exist, without Drugoth, because again, like the same thing as like a signature drum style that Drugoth has, that just, and like we've kind of got this thing, like this synchronicity where we kind of know what the other person wants, like without really talking about it and shit. So like that's Shograath. And so I guess like for both of them, like Drugoth and Shograath, they're kind of like solo sort of projects, but still collaborative. Right. And then there's Deathorde, which we've just started up to for like live purposes and stuff like that. And I think this is probably like the most collaborative project that we've really done. Do you reckon?
Yeah, it's I was trying to think of it earlier, like when it sort of started, and I think it was I was on a news rant with Jackie of Into the Necrosphere, and he just said, this was after we did the We Are Legion split, and even that, we sort of just did it our own way. Like we didn't go my 3 songs and then Shog's 3 songs, or upload my songs on my bandcamp and then here's the link to Shograath songs on his bandcamp. I think I was song 1, Shog was song 2, and then so on, and then the last song was just a collaboration track. But yeah, on the news rant, he said it. Jackie said we should, play this shit live. It needs to be played live. And not only him, but some other close friends mentioned it. And then, yeah, I just sort of thought I want to play live again, but I don't want to work with anyone else really, except for Shograath. So let's just do a 2-man, sort of band. And what do we want to do? And I've always been a very big fan of war metal and bestial black metal, and wanted to do something different. And then I think I messaged Shograath about it, and he's like, yeah, I'm down. And then we literally thought of the theme, thought of the name, just figured it all out in about 10 minutes. Had one like band practice, wrote I think we wrote that intro, we wrote the first song, and we're like, yeah, this is easy. We've got this down. And I think that was in December. So like literally we started in December and we're in mid-April now and we've already got an album written. And that was like during fucking cyclones and Christmas and all that bullshit. So like we didn't rush it, but our time together was limited. But yeah, we don't fuck around. We don't fuck spiders. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It seems like it. Yeah, when you kind of get together, it just fucking yeah, it all just works. It's like just always super fucking productive. Yeah.
No, that's great. So this record was written like the old school way, with like in a band room somewhere, right? Is that's my understanding?
pretty much, like um, yeah, we pretty much did that. I'm always thinking about riffs and songs and shit, and Shog is the same. And we would have ideas, and we would bring them to the studio, and I just trust in what he does. Like he's like, I got a riff. Oh, I basically got a song, and we might sort of jam it out together on guitar or something, and then sort of figure out lyrically what we're going to do, or the theme as well, and then sort of build the structure of the song that way. But our structures and stuff aren't crazy or anything, but it's just we just tried to make each song different from the last song just to keep things interesting. But yeah, it wrote itself basically, and yeah, it's I don't want to say it's easy, but it's kind of easy. Like Shog will come up with a riff, he'll show me the notes, I'll make a riff out of that. Then we'll put like a crowbar beat down in there somewhere. It just, I don't know, it just works. I can't explain it. It's like he said, we're on the same wavelength or something. Like, yeah, we just know what we're thinking, like what each other are thinking, and I don't know, it just happens.
Yeah, that's killer because I know that in these days, even though I live in the same state and just with it not too far away from the guys in my band, like most of our writing happens insular in an insular way. Like I'm here in the room that I'm doing this podcast in with my guitar and my setup, and I'd send files to everyone. It's not we don't do it the old school way anymore. And I actually really, really think that old school in the practice room way works great because the arrangements, when you can't, I find it difficult to arrange things by yourself. You know what I mean? Like, but in the room, when you're bashing the riffs out and you get like a feel for it, I feel like the arrangements, that's what really benefits from that method.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Totally agree. Like there's times where like I'll sit down with like with a riff or something, or I'll have like, a song idea sort of thing, and like I'll be playing through it, and Drugoth will be like, why don't we try it like this, or like why don't we split this up here, and like he's able to, yeah, like kind of see things or hear things just from like that, yeah, like a different perspective, I guess, and it's really good, yeah, really good being in the same room, and like I suppose it's uh like it makes it like really cool and easy for us because like there's only the two of us, so like we can just fucking line up our schedules and just like go to the room and just start fucking smacking shit out sort of thing. And yeah, like yeah, it's really cool having that like other like perspective or something like that that's just so like immediate in the time sort of thing. So
Where's the
yeah.
room? Is it like someplace? Is there like a town between you guys, or is it which? Where do you guys rehearse? It's like you guys are like 2 hours away from each other. You were saying.
Yeah, it's in a rehearsal room that's like it's literally like like almost across the road from where Drugoth lives,
Oh, cool.
and like my family like around that area, like my family live there, so but like I make like kind of regular trips up and down there all the time. Like I live in uh like far northern New South Wales, like on the coastline, like pretty much only like fuck, would it be like 40 minutes like south of the Queensland New South Wales border. But but yeah, so it's like 2 hours away, but like it's I make the trip regularly, so it's like yeah, and I got like shit going on in that part of town and stuff as well. So
Yeah, that's the practice bit's funny just because once again, in my experience, like we all live in New Jersey, but I live like an hour away from the practice space, and our bass player lives like 2 hours away, and somehow it
mm,
all works. But like I might go, depending on what we're doing, I might go like a month without looking at my equipment or anything like that, and I'll just be practicing here with my
mm.
setup at home, and I don't know, it's just funny, man. I remember it used to be like your band would be all guys that lived in the same area and you would see each other all the time, and these days it's like way more in some ways detached, especially with technology being what it is these days.
It's funny,
Yeah.
we never actually physically sort of jammed these songs until last time we jammed. Um, yeah, it was really strange. We just trusted each other's ability to do that, and then yeah, we just met up. Like, oh yeah, let's run through the songs. And I think we had to kind of fuck around a little for each song for about maybe 10 minutes each, and then we just ran through it, and we're like, yep, sweet, easy. And the hardest part for me was figuring out where to put the microphone while I'm playing drums. But that's like something that's been just driving me nuts lately. So I've been really like brainstorming like position where to put the microphone, or even like do the full Britney Spears headpiece thing maybe. But
Britney
I
Spears.
don't know. It's like a trial and error thing.
That's funny. A good reference for Britney Spears. I mean, I would think more of like Paul Ledney as like a drummer vocalist kind of thing, but
Yeah, well, he uses like a microphone on a mic stand.
yeah, yeah, he
So
does.
same with the dude from Antichrist Siege Machine. And I don't know, like I'm a very I move around a lot when I drum. Like I my arms are flailing around, and the microphone stand was just getting in my way. So I was like trying to figure out what's the best spot. I even thought maybe I should do like a Lemmy and just put it above me
Oh
and just
yeah.
yell upwards, but I don't know. I'm not a fucking audio engineer, so I don't know if the cymbals will get in the way, or but yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I can't even imagine singing and playing drums at all, man. It's just that I can't, first of all, I can't imagine playing drums because I've tried and it's not part of my genetic makeup or something. Because I always feel like drummers are born really, not made. I think that level of coordination is something that's like some people gravitate towards different physical pursuits, and I feel like drumming is like a physical pursuit, 50%, and 50% a creative pursuit. But just singing and drumming, it's like I can't even fathom that.
Neither can I.
Yeah. Yeah, it blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. So you all right, there's a difference between Death Horde and then the other quote unquote solo material that you guys are doing. So what is that? Is it a philosophy? Is it a subject matter in the lyrics? Is like how do you differentiate when it's a Death Horde material like and versus the other stuff that you guys are doing?
Um, well, the Drugoth stuff, for me, like I'd write a riff, and I would think to myself, is that more appropriate for Drugoth, or is that a little bit more appropriate for Death Horde or something, or even Shograath? Like maybe I'll contribute a riff here and there, and vice versa. But yeah, I don't know. It's riff wise, um, it's it's hard to explain, but it's very different to Drugoth riffs, but at the same time, if someone listens to Drugoth, they could probably tell what
Yeah.
riffs I wrote on Deathorde, and vice versa. Like for
Mm.
Shograath as well, you could probably think, oh yeah, Shograath probably wrote this riff in Deathorde, and then there's like some parts that we literally just both wrote the riff together, and but yeah, drum wise, um, for Drugoth, I only have a certain setup, like snare, floor tom, single pedal, of course. That's like my signature, and hi hats and two crashes. And then with Shograath, I go the complete kind of opposite, where I always have the same drum setup because I'm really lazy, but I add extra cymbals. So with Shograath, I have the hi hats, the two crashes. I add in a ride cymbal and four China cymbals. Sorry, and then with Deathorde, once again, I had to make it its own thing. So it's the same setup as I use in Drugoth. So snare, kick, floor tom only, and then two crashes, hi hats, and I've added in a China because I don't know, Chinas sound badass in war metal. So
Definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, China has that super dark like sound to it.
yeah, and I don't, because it's a live band as well. I don't want to have a bigger setup because I'm lazy and I don't want to, walk back and forth from the car so much.
What about
Yeah, I think there's
guitar setup wise? You do anything different with your setup with your guitars?
uh not really. With like rig wise and stuff, like for amps and all of that type of shit, like we don't have any like live rigs or anything like that at the moment. But yeah, so we pretty much just use all of the like plugins in uh oh well this time around because we tracked it all ourselves this time. Like we didn't go to a studio or anything. But, yeah, we got like Reaper on a laptop and I fuck what did I use? For tracking, I think it was different because when it got sent off to be mixed and mastered by Nathan, I think I just sent him like all of the stems with like clean guitars, and
Yeah.
he built the tones and all of that shit. But what I was using, I think it was just I think it was the Ugra tone, whatever it is. The
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, the True Cab
Yep.
IR loader, and it was an STL Tones head or some shit like that that I used to like fuck around with all of that. But the guitar that we used, it was actually like a newer guitar. I've had it for a while, but just forgot that I fucking had it. But for all of the like the Drugoth and Shograath stuff, we had like it's a Squire Stratocaster that we started using in the last couple of albums for Drugoth, like with uh, yeah, dual humbuckers in it, like in the bridge and in the neck. And we were using a Fender Telecaster as well, just like single coil, like just standard like American telly. But for this one, we've got an LTD Viper with
Oh
like
yeah.
active pickups in it and shit, and it fucking I don't know, yeah, it just sounds a fuckload beefier now. So like there was like a bit of a change in it, but I'm thinking like we're probably going to be using like the Viper for like I know I'm probably going to use it for like future stuff with Shograath, and like we'll probably end up using it in Drugoth as well. But that's like the main guitar for like for Deathorde at the
Yeah,
moment, and
the Viper's cool. I got one of those too. Those are really sick.
yeah, they're fucking dope. Yeah, when I started playing it again, I was like, oh my fucking God. Like I had it sitting in pieces for a while because I was just gonna fix up all the hardware and shit. Like when I wasn't really playing guitar all that much, like a few years back, I was gonna just fix it up and sell it, but I'm glad I didn't because like it's a fucking really cool guitar. Super nice.
Yeah, I made a pact with myself not to sell any equipment anymore because I sold I had a Japanese Stratocaster from like this is going back like 15 years ago, and I was like going through a time where we were touring a lot and I needed some cash, so I sold it, and I regret that day to this day, actually. And then even like effects wise, like I had like a Memory Man, you know, and a couple of these like little boutique like effects, and I wasn't using some of them, so I sold them. And I was just like, now I wish I had all that stuff because I'm doing more like atmospheric stuff these days.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the
yeah.
same with symbols, man. Like I used to just like have such a large collection of like some were really, really rare and like they don't make them anymore. And I don't know, one time I think I needed cash or something, but I just ended up selling a lot of them. And I do and I don't regret it. Like I do because I wish I had them now just to fuck around with and have as spares and for particular projects and stuff. But at the same time, I sold them, you know, pretty cheap, and I was very rigorous in that aspect where the people who I sold them to, I knew they were gonna use them properly and look after them and play them the way they needed to be played.
Yeah, that's important. Unfortunately, the people I sold these to were just people that showed up with cash money. I didn't really know any of them. So, but you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes these days. So now I just don't sell anything. I have like effect like cases of effects now that you know I probably should sell some of those things. But you know, it's funny you mentioned the plugins, and it's like it you can go as deep as you want with those models, those amp models. It's like such like you know, to find the right tone and everything. It's like a rabbit hole that you can just disappear into, man, for sure.
Oh fuck yeah, man! It's like I'm like still like on the surface of that shit at the moment, but like it's opened up a whole new fucking world for me. It's really helped me. I don't know. I guess understand my fucking like my instrument a
Yeah.
lot better, which is really fucking cool. But yeah, it's insane the shit you can get and all these different how do they call them? Like all the shit you can get into your IR loaders, like all the different fucking like cab sounds and all of that kind of stuff. Like the things that those people do with that shit is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's like I watch all these YouTube videos on how to like, you know, properly utilize these things, and like my needs are met within the first like 5 minutes of all these videos, and then you
Yeah,
skip ahead and it's like they're doing this arcane, you know, like
wizardry.
exactly, dude. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Because you know, but yeah, you could disappear, man. But I end up it's the last record, our new album was all the guitar sounds on that is all that's we just finished recording is like all models. There's no actual we didn't reamp
Shit,
anything, you know, it's all amp models, which is really trippy, you know.
cool. Is there a way that you like emulate that kind of stuff live or?
I mean, honestly, it's like I just well, you know, it's funny. We use what the hell is it? Uh, Bias, which is mostly that's the amp models, and they have like the same amps that you know what I mean? Like they'll have like a 5150, but it's called something else, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they model that tone, but it's like, you know, it's like a 6290 or you know what I mean? They have like a name because there's like proprietary, like, you know, stuff like that.
yeah. True, true. Yep.
So I'll just that I go in there with an open mind and I'm just like I pull out whatever I want, but it always ends up being that similar sound that I use live. So we just kind of like go with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Um, so the Death Horde record itself has a very live feel to it. So when you tracked it, were you guys how'd you track it? Were you all in the same room when you were doing it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we made this. We didn't spend too much money on this album, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I think uh I think I paid $50 for the the logo to be made by a very good friend, Ozzy, who's a really good tattooist, and he did it in about like 2 hours, which is
Nice.
even cooler. But yeah, so $50, and then uh, I bought like a drum microphone thing, this Yamaha mic that I click onto my bass drum, and then it's got a drum module, and I figured out how to plug that into my iPad and shit. So, oh no, we used Shog's laptop because he got repo and shit.
Yeah.
So really, all we really did was I bought that microphone. We got a mate that works at like a electronics store that discounts the fuck out of us, and I always give him like merchandise and shit whenever I get runs done. And he's a really good guy, and he discounted the laptop for Shograath. I think he cut off like a couple of $100, which was cool.
It was like
Nice.
$800, man.
Oh, $800.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, no, he's a G. And yeah,
Yeah.
so all up, we really just paid for our own equipment and a $50 logo, and then the studio like hire, which was like $60 every time we did it. And I think we were only there 4 times at the most.
Mm.
So yeah, it was pretty cheap. And it's funny you guys are talking about, you know, all these like guitar mods and all that shit that I have no idea about, but like I degressed, like I instead of using everything mic'd up, like 2 mics on the snare and room mics and this and that, I've just gone down to one microphone and that's it. Like
There was only
this,
one mic on the drums.
yeah, man, this
Wow.
Yamaha microphone I
Jesus.
got, and like it sounded good, like it sounds good the way it is, but yeah, Nathan of Gravia, he did the mixing and mastering, and he's a wizard. Like he tried to explain it to me, but I don't know, man. I'm a caveman. I just punch people in the face. I don't know how things work. And
Yeah, like
he
fucking
did like
what, like
four,
baby.
yeah, I don't know. Whatever he did, he made it sound good.
That's awesome, man. I would never have thought there was only one mic on the kit. That's it sounds killer, man. Definitely.
Yeah,
And
you know, efficiency or laziness, you pick.
and then the guitar is like, listening to it with like headphones. It's just literally just one guitar track, right?
Yeah. Oh no, I think there's
Couple
oh fuck.
overdubs.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh, well, we tracked it once, and I think we double tracked it actually. But yeah, I think Nathan might have put on. I think there's like 3 layers, like a left, right, and center.
Okay.
And I think he ran. Did he? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he might have reamped a guitar track through a bass amp as well.
Oh
So that's
yeah,
some.
yeah, yeah. He did that. Yeah, for the lower thing, and then we got that pedal with the octave pedal or something to replicate it live.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like because I listened to it few times with headphones and then just a few times like just through the speakers here, and I was like, there's like I sense like this lower rumble and this like lower tone, and it was like, is that a bass? And I guess that's how you guys answer my question about that.
It's also the kick drum. So you know how like drummers, they'll put like a pillow or muffling in their
Right.
bass drum. I have none of that. So like one single hit, there's so much like natural reverb already. And so when it's blasting, it just creates like this thunderous rumble, but it's still clear, like it's a single hit, but it just, there's like a really low rumbling just vibration underneath it all. And yeah, a lot of the time, like in the intro, you can hear it especially, because I'm hitting the kick drum and the floor tom, the singular floor tom that I tune finger tight. Yeah, just hitting them together. There's so much sustain, and plus the palm mutes as well of the guitar. Like, yeah, I don't know. It almost having one guitar, it almost makes it's more clear, but then because I use such big drums, like my hi-hats are actually like 18-inch crashes, and my crashes 24-inch rides, and then I only use a 16 by 16 floor tom and a 22 bass drum, like, which isn't the biggest bass drum, but it's the biggest one I can carry around, and they're all low tuned and no muffling, so it almost, that itself is the bass. Like, noise frequency wise, like, I sort of handle all that lower end stuff. It almost makes it cut through more because there isn't a bass. If that's sort of makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense because that a lot of times that's really the bass and the bass drum always are, it seems like they're battling for that frequency range in a lot of recordings, and that's why like in like that terrible trend towards having the kick drum sound like a typewriter is like kind of developed over the last like 20 years, like in metal productions, you know what I mean? Like instead of having like an actual proper kick drum sound, it's like real overly clicky, you know, which is like I don't really care for that production style myself, so I appreciate like the low end sort of unraveling that way.
And that's also the good thing about using this one mic setup. Um, Once I've done it, I've done it. Like, that's it. I can't go back and change the snare sound or anything. Like, once I've recorded it, that's it. I can't fuck around and you know change the volume of this or that, or you know what I mean. That's it. It is what it is on the day. So I kind of think that's about as black metal as you can get. Like,
Yeah, no,
it is
absolutely.
what it is on the day. And as well, on that note of keeping it black metal, I try like I try to do the complete opposite of what every other sort of extreme drummer is trying to do. Like, my drum kit looks like a jazz drum setup, and like I tune my snare. Usually, people in extreme music try to tune their snare very tight so
Yeah.
they can get heaps of bounce back for the blast beats. Where mine's like so much sustain, and it's finger tight itself, so it sounds like almost like a doom band, like just really thick and shitty. But I don't know. I just got to hit harder if I want to make the blast beat sort of cut out a bit more. But it's worth it, I think.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
hate
that
the high pitch pingy snare sound, but that's just a personal preference.
yeah, that's I tend to agree with that, you know, for sure. And I mean if you guys had more like another guitar player and a bass player, you probably would modify that sound a little bit, but with the two components in the band, I think that's like perfect, you know.
Mm.
But as well, yeah, because it's just us, and uh, I Shograath is a very good vocalist. Of course, he was going to sing, and I don't know. There's some cool lyrics in there that I couldn't help but want to sing myself. So now it's like there's no one vocalist. Uh, it's a dual vocalist band, and that sort of, I don't know, wrote itself as well.
The
Like, there
lyr
was never
the lyrics or the
no
patterns.
the both. Like, the lyrics, like, I would come up with an idea. I would write maybe one verse, and Shog would write the next verse, or vice versa. And then even like structurally, like we just sat down when we were recording vocals, and I just said, well, this drum beat is a little bit too complex for me to sing over. So this is your part. And then same thing, he would be like, well, this riff's a little bit hard for me to sing over. So you do that part. And I feel like I didn't realize it at the time, but only when I got the songs back from Nathan and listening to the songs in order, it's quite even. So there's no song where it's like Shog singing 90% of it and I'm singing the last 10%. Like there is songs like that, but the next song will then compensate for that, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, no,
Like
that's cool.
you can't pinpoint who's the main vocalist, and I like that.
Yeah, it creates a cool yeah, it's the thing that I found as well. Yeah, real sick. Like it like created a almost like a call and response kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, with one line it'll be yeah, whatever that line might be, and then the next line will kind of almost be a fucking, I don't know, like a punchline, so to speak. And then like, yeah, so it'd be like a call and a response to it, or like, yeah, it all worked out. Yeah, it worked out really fucking well, just and quite naturally too, which is cool.
And the lyrics came quite naturally, and for me, they were fun. They were very fun to write because they're different to what I write in Drugoth, and I also write lyrics for a couple of other projects. But this one, the theme of this band is something specific, so and something I'm not really used to writing. So that and even the style and the way we want to sort of phrase the words, like we try to keep it, I use the term caveman again, but almost just like guttural, just grunts, as opposed to having any form of melody or anything like that. It's just, it's meant to sound like hatred and just pure animosity and just violence, basically. Just try to sing and phrase the words as violently as possible.
Yeah, that was kind of my next the next area I wanted to talk about was just the did you guys have a concept or some sort of outline of what you wanted to discuss or talk about in the lyrics or as the album in whole as a whole?
We kind of as we were writing it, we sort of put that on the back burner, I guess, for the first one or two sort of writing sessions that we had. And then after that, we both agreed that, our frustrations with not necessarily all organized religions, because for both of us growing up, Christianity was the main religion surrounding us in our lives, not necessarily family lives, but at schools and just I remember both of us being little shithead skate rats, and we would always it was Friday nights, we would go to this DIY wooden skate park thing in a church car park, and those fucking rat cunts would always they would bait you in. You'd get there at 6 o'clock, skate for an hour, and then they'd fucking create a wall, human shield wall, and just push you all into the fucking church, and you'd have to. They wouldn't let you out. They would just keep you in there for an hour, and we were all long haired, metalhead skater fuckheads. So we would all sneak headphones under our long hair and listen to Slayer or something.
That's awesome.
And then they would finally let us out, and then we could keep skating. But that was, I just fucking hated that shit so much. But that's, I guess that's the concept, lyrical concept and theme of Deathorde. And I need to express this. It's not anti-religious. It's not, you know, like satanic at all. It is just 100% honest and pure anti-Christian, and it's just unrelenting hatred towards the Christian faith, and just we point out the contradictions and just the fucking absolute bullshit that they get away with, and no one bats an eyelid, and it's fucking infuriating. And I mean every fucking word I say when I yell it out.
Yeah, it's like the I suppose like, and there's other fucking like on the on that track, rape worship.
Yeah.
It sounds like super fucking, uh like extreme, I guess, like at first glance, but it's like, it's got nothing, to do with the actual like fucking us worshipping rape or anything, or fucking, anything like that. It's more so like almost like looking at the idea of like the conception of Christ from like a different fucking perspective of like, what if it was, it wasn't what they fucking say it was, like, it wasn't, the Holy Spirit. If it, what if it was the ritualistic rape of a virgin or something, and they fucking, and they've kind of manipulated all of these fucking words, like in the doctrine of like manipulated all of these words and like kind of made people believe that, um, or like, I don't know, like celebrate, something like that, or fucking, yeah,
Well, that's not
like
too
it's,
far off point, really. I mean, there's if you go back to even just like like the history of Rome, for example, is like very shrouded in legend and actual history. And the birth of Romulus and Remus is like, oh yeah, they found these two babies and raised by wolves, right? Stuff like that. But then there's the idea that there was they were products of like incest and things like that. So yeah, it's not too off point to think that Christ, the the man, was the product of like a rape of a virgin, or some sort of unsavory union like that. And then the whole idea of that was like baked into this legend of Jesus Christ, and stealing things from the cult of Mithras and all these other proto Christian ideas. You know what I mean?
But we
mm,
use like concepts like that, and then we put a lot of like Easter eggs and sort of not hidden meaning, but double double meanings behind things as well. Like, um, oh, there's one. It was how do I explain that? It's hard to explain, but like there's some new lyrics that we've been working on. Like the lyrics are constant. Like we're always writing ideas
Yeah.
and stuff, but it's got to do with the it's kind of like a double-sided coin. Like there's a song on the album called Heretical Condemnation, and it's about um, like the similar to, I guess, the witch trials. They're like, oh, you disagree with us, you're a heretic, bang, you're going to be burnt alive or hung or, crucified even if you disagree with us. And kind of this is like the other side of the coin from a Diocletian sort of point of
Mhm.
view,
Yeah.
where he tried to de-Christianize Rome, and a lot of them were crucified or burnt alive, and then a lot of them were fed to the lions. So there's a line in this new one, lionized, which is that's the sort of pun intended because of what it actually means, and then as well, that's the Easter egg because they were also fed to the lions. So just little things like that, and
Yeah.
then yeah, we try to use their words against them, if you will. Like I know
Mm.
the lyrics for negate the armor of God. They're ones that Shog primarily wrote, or I think he even wrote all of them. But that I don't know the
Yeah,
story
that
behind that. But yeah, you told it to me once, but I forgot.
yeah, I'll yeah, negate the armor of God. That was something that I wanted to write about for a fucking long time. Like even I think it was like even during like the fucking COVID era. Like there was the COVID era. But yeah, there was a lot of people well there was a lot of people like actually around me, like in my personal life that were kind of like turning to Christianity, like and becoming like fucking born again Christians during this time because there was all of this, you know, this shit about, you know, well, the fucking, you know, Satan is coming and, you know, the devils and fucking, you know, all of that shit. Like there was a there was a shooting, like there was a shootout by these cunts. They were uh I can't remember where they were from, but they were like radicalist Christians that shot and killed three innocent people because they thought they were possessed by demons and shit. You know, but it was like it was during that time when I noticed a lot of these people they were talking about they were they were talking about like adorning the armor of God, and it came from a verse in the book of Ephesians. I think it's in the New Testament, but yeah, it's from the book of Ephesians, and yeah, they speak of like, you know, adorning the armor of God with like, you know, the helm of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the sword, which is the word or something. I can't remember it like
Wow. Okay.
uh, off the top of my head, but they were talking about like, you know, they were sharing like that little fucking passage from Ephesians around with each other. And the way I was kind of thinking about it was like, you people are like, you know, sharing this around with each other, like adorning the armor of God, but like you just you're going around fucking uh I don't know, just kind of, you know, preaching all of this fucking bullshit with each other and like, you know, putting yourselves up on these pedestals, like, you know, Jesus is coming, like, you know, salvation is nigh, like, you know, and all of this fucking bullshit. And they were using this verse to like uplift each other and like, you know, really gas each other up with all of this, you know, bullshit around this time where they were like, there were a lot of people getting sucked into like Christianity because there was all you know, this fear, like this mortal fear that was, you know, that struck society for a little bit there. But I wanted to, for a long time, like ever since all of that shit was happening, I wanted to write something about that, like to fucking, you know, destroy it,
Yeah,
so to
totally.
speak. To destroy that armor and like fucking, you know, pull all of that shit away, like lift the veil and, you know, just be like, you know, you're no fucking better than anybody else. Like, you know,
What seems to be the trend with a lot of this kind of fervor is they pick a target first and then they build a justification for, you know, the elimination of that target. You know, that's the way it seems like for a lot of these fundamentalists or these extremists. That's the process that they do, you know. So you can read and find any passage in any of the scriptures there and tailor it towards what the end result is that you're looking for. And yeah, that's been for time immemorial. I mean, that's like if you go back to like Henry the Eighth, you know what I mean? It's like he wanted to have sex with Anne Boleyn, so he rejected Christianity and brought in the you know the reformists and all this other stuff. You know what I mean?
mm, yeah,
Yeah. No, it's interesting how they flip that switch.
I think it's for me as well. Like I, for the last 3 years, I've been working in aged care and like looking after other people like in need and being a like a support worker, like a service to people who really need it. And not only that, like we've had this conversation before. My sensei at my gym had leukemia,
Yeah.
and shit hit the fan. Like he was fucked, and I just took the keys off of him. I was like, you just chill at the hospital. You focus on that shit. Don't worry about your business. I'll sort that shit out. I ran that fucking gym for about 11 months,
Hmm.
7 days a week, and it fucking destroyed me. But the whole time, I just thought, well, at least I don't have fucking leukemia, so there's nothing for me to whinge about. But I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I did it because it needed to be fucking done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, same thing with
Yeah.
this work that I do. I quit my job. I was earning fucking good as money being a specialty coffee roaster, like a
Hmm.
real niche sort of job. But I was on very, very good money. And I quit that shit because all I was doing was making some fucking rich cockhead even more money. And I was getting paid well for it, but they're all fucking snakes. So I told them all to go fuck themselves. And now I do something that the pay is much less, but for my soul, if I have one, like I just don't feel like a piece of shit at the end of the day. I feel like I've helped people, and I do. Like I'll be honest, like I do. It's not arrogance. Like I do help people, and I'm good at my job, and I try my best to just be a good person, and that's the Budo spirit of Japanese martial arts that's ingrained into me. But at the same time, I don't believe in, the Christian God or religion. So even though I'm a good person in my books, and you know, I do the right thing and I do things that need to be done, like running the gym and everything else, I'm still going to be condemned to hell in their eyes. Like
Mm.
all I need to do is say, I'm sorry, I believe in Christ, and my foot's in the door, but I refuse to bend. Fuck those fucking dog cunts. Like if that's what it takes to get into the pearly gates, I don't want to fucking be there. I don't want to be around those fucking pieces of shit.
What
Yeah, it's yeah.
overall, what is the type of Christianity that's down there? Is it, like Catholics, or is it, Protestant people, or, what's the I always find it fascinating, the two different, like the different levels of Christianity, because like my where I grew up was all Catholics, you know what I mean? And that they have their own thing. And then over the course of my lifetime, traveling through different parts of the United States and, Europe and everything, you observe other types of Christianity and their hangups and weirdnesses. So what's it like in Australia?
I don't like I don't know, and I mean that not in a simpleton sort of answer, but I don't know because I they're all insects to me. But
Right.
we do have there's like my uncle, like he's a nice fella, and like same thing. Like I have a lot of clients who are very devout Christian. I have a
Yeah.
lot of friends who are also of that faith, and we get along great. But it's like the same thing. I always relate it to my lifestyle choice of being straight edge. Like I've been straight edge for 17 years now, and Shog enjoys a cigarette every now and then, and that's totally fine. Like we will sit outside, he'll have a smoke, and I'll just sit there, have a coffee or something. Like we're not gonna separate ourselves because of that little indifference. But that's the thing that shits me. But then, these people who I know who are of Christian faith, same thing. They like me for me, and I like them for the people that they are, not because of their religion. But yeah, my uncle, he's really high up, like a preacher or some shit in uh is it Baptist
Okay, yeah.
church?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
like that's a Protestant. So they're like um they're like descended from like the Lutheran revisionist sort of reformist rather offshoot of Christianity. You know what I mean? I find this stuff fascinating just because of the history in Europe and the Roman Empire and all that sort of stuff.
But then we've got like other uh I can't think of the names, but there's other like churches, but they're all of Christian faith, but like you were saying, like slight differences.
Yeah.
And then one of our former prime ministers, I'm not political at all. I think they're all fucking dogs. But one of them, our recent ones, he's of a particular sect called what is it? One what who's that Malcolm Turnbull cunt shog? Was it like one Faith Hill or some shit?
Oh,
Or
so he's in some like evangelist sort of like
Hillsong.
Oh, that motherfucker, that Scott Morrison cunt.
Yeah. What did I say? Whatever.
Turnbull, yeah. Malcolm
Whatever.
Turnbull,
They're all fuckheads.
Yeah.
Now there's always like in that sect of Christianity, there's always this weird nationalistic sort of like um, you know, vibe to it that makes me really, really uncomfortable. It's like
Yeah.
recently my father passed away and my family are, they're not, I wouldn't say they're religious, but they're of the Christian Catholic, faith. So I was in a church, you know what I mean? I've been in a church in like my whole life. When I was a kid, that was the last time I think I went to a church. So part of it I can see like the sense of community and like, okay, everyone's here and there's a feel, there's a vibe in the church too, for sure. That's maybe the energy of the people that are there. But that Christian fundamentalist, nationalistic sort of trip is evil. That's like pure control. It's not about community or anything. It's about extorting money out of the followers and controlling them and making them do what you want. That's like the worst of the worst, in my opinion.
I saw
It's
a
like
video the other day. You know how they have that collection plate thing and
Yeah.
like you chuck in a few dollars?
Yep.
Because everything's like PayPal and credit cards and shit nowadays. They
Yeah.
were handing around like an iPad and you could like type in however much you wanted
Oh,
to
man.
donate and then people were like tapping their cards and shit. Like
So
that's so
weird.
fucked up.
Yeah. Really, really weird. Yeah.
But like even that situation, like if I was like, oh no thanks, I can't afford to, donate, would I, be shunned or would I, you know what I mean? Like, is there segregation there? It's like, oh, Mike only donated $10 this week, but Shog donated $150. So, Shog gets front seat on when the fucking minister's talking or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's you can't buy your way into this shit. It's meant to be you're all sons of God, are you not? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's really disgusting, really, and in the United States, there's a lot of like especially in the right wing, a cross section of Christian fundamentalism and this bizarre right wing authoritarianism that's going on here right now, and it's kind of it disgusts me, and it makes me go further into the dark side, I think.
But at the same
Yeah, it's like
time, like if Carl, like we all know Carl's like
Oh
a
yeah,
Satanist,
yeah,
but if he was like, hey guys, I'm joining this church. I've found God. I'm like, that's cool. I wouldn't second guess him. I wouldn't change my thoughts or my love for him as a friend, not one single bit, because I know him as a person. But if it was to like really change him and turn him against everyone else and who's a part of the Legion and the Horsemen and stuff, like then I would be like, okay, well, you're changing as a person. Like this faith that you've discovered is more malignant than you're willing to accept. Then you know what I mean? Like these things shouldn't corrupt people. They should help people. And even that, like I train at an MMA gym, and we call it a dojo, and the translation means place of worship. Like the dojo where I train, that is my church, and I love the people that are there, just like someone going to church every Sunday would love the people who sits beside them when they're listening, to the Bible verses and stuff. Like it's no different, but I'm not looking at people outside of that as outsiders. Like I'm accepting of everybody, where they are not so much so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the thing. There's even there's different like different aspects to it. There's different faces of it, and that's I feel that way about religion too. I mean, there's like I said, my dad's funeral, we were in a church. Everyone was there. There was a sense of community. That was cool, you know. And then there's a guy who's like handling snakes and like speaking in tongues and trying to convince you to buy him a Rolls Royce. That's different, you know what I mean? And then and then there's like even in the gym, the MMA gym, you said dojo, right? There's like a philosophical element to training that I have, I feel the same way about it. It's like, I'm going to train to the day I die, until I can't drag myself onto the mat. That's going to be my final day of this whole trip. You know what I mean? But there are guys who don't have that element to it that still go there, but you have to accept them too. There's like knuckleheads that go to my gym who are just like want to beat people up and, compete and, do MMA and that sort of stuff. And it's like, all right, cool. They're part of the whole spectrum of people that are here, but I'm going to stay within my realm of, the way that I've chosen. You know what I mean? But that sort of acceptance of diverse points of view is really what makes everything cool in the world, and like it's touching on what you were saying earlier, like once everything gets segregated and like you're going to go to hell if you don't believe these things, it's like, yeah, that's when all this stuff gets corrupted.
Yeah, as well. It's the correlation between that and like black metal, especially, and but all sort of extreme music, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like there's people who are just in here, uh, just because it's a hype train or something, or they're like, oh yeah, I can make a symphonic fucking vampire demo in my basement and make some money off of it. Like they're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Like those guys you're saying at the gym where they just want to get huge and just beat people up, where they don't want to do the I guess the more the mental side of martial arts. Like anyone can learn to kick the shit out of someone, but it's about knowing not to do that, and only knowing when it's necessary to do that.
Yeah, it's like right now the guy who runs our gym are, he's in Thailand right now. There's a group of guys that go over twice a year. I mean, anyone can go if you want to sign up. I just don't have the bandwidth right now. I don't have the flexibility to go over there with those guys. And he tries to project that into the gym. He tries to infuse like that element into it. And there are just some people that just don't get it. You know what I mean? They just show up and, there's like a lack of understanding. And they're young kids. Maybe it'll come to them later. Because I know when I was 17 and 18 years old, I just wanted to shoot takedowns on people and, punch them their face into the dirt. You know what I mean? But like, and maybe as I got older, I matured more and I started seeing things differently. But yeah, it's like even with black metal is like the biggest, perpetrator of of this whole exclusionary philosophy, really. It's like there's a uniform, there's a sound, there's a subject matter, like all that sort of stuff. But you know, there are elements like when I listen to Deathorde, it's like black metal because of the spirit of the music and the kind of philosophical end to the way that you create the band and everything. To me, that's like more black metal than like you know, I don't know, you name it. You name any of the posers out there that, have like that we want to make a raw black metal band. So they intentionally make this thing that sounds a way that they've already preconceived.
Yeah, and they've already got the album cover sorted. They'll get their mum to take a photo of them, like with their makeup, holding a candelabra or something. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's like that's cool and all, but you're missing the point, type of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, and the record has like such a unique sound, I think, because of just the way it was recorded, the way it was created, the way it was written, the people involved, the two of you working together, and also it's like that. Maybe it's even the repetition of you guys working together in different projects that created the energy with that is in the band, you know?
Yeah, I would totally agree. Like it's yeah, everything just came together like with recording this album, everything just came together so fucking so naturally. Like but yeah, there was no real like what would you say uh probably like full on like active thought process of like like you were saying before, like we're gonna do this and this. It all just kind of was like, okay, let's try this thing. Let's do this. So, okay, cool, this works. All right, let's try this. And then each step just kind of happened naturally. And yeah, it's really fucking cool to hear that actually like reflects in the music. Like, yeah, that's actually really fucking cool to hear.
Yeah. So you guys are planning to do some gigs? Is that what's on the horizon next, maybe?
that would be cool. Even that being said, um, like that is the idea and the purpose behind this band as well, is to play it live, but we don't want to just play live for the sake of it. Like we want it to be appropriate shows. Um, I use the like an example. There's a lot of like mixed bill sort of shows around our area where
Yeah.
like one band might be a fucking slam death metal band, the next band might be like a, I don't know, like a tough guy hardcore band, and then some technical death metal,
Right.
nah, no, I don't want to fuck around with that
No.
shit.
No,
I
no,
want to play
definitely
with
not.
like bands that are of similar ilk, and you know where it would be fitting and tasteful, but whether that means we play once a year, whether that means we play you know a handful of times a year, it really depends.
Nah, that's killer. That's a really good approach to it, because it's easy to fall into that trap of just wanting to play live and then you're next thing you know you're on tour with like Bring Me the Horizon or something like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no,
Or like, yeah, that's you should avoid that for sure.
no. Well, that's that as well. Like that's the black metal spirit that's within all of us, or it should, like it is. Like if say we got an offer from, like you said, Bring Me the Horizon or whatever, and they're like, oh hey, do you want to open? I'd be like, fuck no, fuck off. Like we're better than you. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Not in an
Yeah, no,
arrogant
no,
way, but
totally,
in a
man.
way of me as a person. I am a better person than you, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
ah,
like people like having the different idea why like that's a long time ago. This is going back like maybe 20 years ago at least, or longer than that probably. One of my old bands played with the band that became very popular, and we were playing at CB's in New York. That's how long ago this was, CBGB's. And this dude had his merch set up, and I was, hanging out in our area, and they finished playing, and we were wrapping everything up at the end of the night. And I was like, how was the set? How was how'd it go? Something like that. And the dude just ran down all of the merch they sold. You know what I mean? Like, not like, oh yeah, I fucked up this one part, but it's cool, or the set was great, like I felt good playing, I feel like, positive after playing the set. He was just like, oh yeah, we sold like, 16 long sleeves and like, a couple of cassettes or whatever, I was just like, dude, like that's not what I asked, you know what I mean? It's like that element
Right.
when that started, that feel, that whole like point of view came into the underground scene is like was like the like people say punk's dead, It's like I feel like metal died that day, you know what I mean? It was just like that's not really what I'm asking you, how many t-shirts you sold, you know what I mean? But it's like, unfortunately, there's a huge element like that.
Yeah, well, that's why, like, even like I 100% agree. Like before, we released this album today on Bandcamp. I sent it to you. I sent it to like maybe 20 people.
Yeah.
And even like there was this one girl, like I made up the Instagram thing like maybe a week ago or something. And this one girl, whatever, who likes must follow Shograath and Drugoth or something and found it, liked the thing and whatever, like messaged and said, "Oh, I'm excited for this." I'd never met her before, never talked to her before. I was like, "Oh, cool. Well, here you go. Here's the thing already, like early. Like, here's the fucking Dropbox link. Enjoy it, whatever. When it's on Bandcamp, download it, whatever, or download it from here for free. I don't give a fuck. Just enjoy it. That's all I give a fuck about. I'm not going to be
Mm.
like, oh, I'm not sending it to you. You got to wait until it's available on Bandcamp and pay money for it. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I just want people to listen to it.
No,
Same
totally.
thing. Like, I'm gonna do some shirts. Like we'll get some shirts done up. I'm not gonna fucking like just order 100 shirts. Like I do like a little pre-order thing because I work full time and
Yeah.
like and it costs like $11 for a fucking thing of cheese in Australia right now. It's fucking insane. And so money's like not not an issue, but at the same time, I don't want to drop $1,000 on fucking t-shirts that I may or may not sell. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna do like a pre-order thing. Like you've got 2 weeks. If you want a shirt, let me know. Sweet, I'll order it, and then when I get them, I'll fucking send it out to you, and you can pay me the dosh. Then basically, I'll just try to make my money back, but I probably won't because I'll give a heap out for free anyway. But it's not about making the money. It's about it's sick as fuck seeing some cunt wearing a shirt or the fact that they even want one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not about the shirt. It's about the fucking music. Like listen to the music. That's all I want. You know, do it for free. Fucking I don't know. Do it on LimeWire or whatever the fuck things are nowadays. Like YouTube. I don't give a fuck. Just listen to it. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Once you start making like physical media, shirts and stuff, that's when it gets dicey. That's when you have to invest money and stuff. So yeah, it's like the doing the pre-order. Is that up yet? Or is that going up today? The pre-order, like on Bandcamp or something?
Oh, the shirts.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing it maybe. So the album came out today digitally on Bandcamp. I might just give it a week and uh, then just like make a post thing on the Instagram and give it 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to give us a yell if you want one, and then we'll go from there. Really,
Yeah.
and then
Cool.
at the same time, like no reprints. So then it's like I don't know, some exclusive fucking shirt, but whatever. I don't care about that sort of shit.
That's awesome because, like, today it's a little bit early over here still. So literally the only thing I've done so far is drink a cup of coffee and talk to you guys. So I don't even know what's going on out in the rest of the world just yet. So right on, man. So now if people want to find you guys, support the band, what are the avenues? What are the channels that people can do that? Obviously there's Bandcamp. Is there any other, there's this other thing like Amp Wall, I guess, which is out now too, or is the record going to be streaming anywhere, like on, Spotify and all that sort of stuff?
Um, I was thinking about doing the whole Spotify thing, but at the same time, I don't want to. Like, I just want it to be Bandcamp. Like, if you
Yeah.
like the band, like it's fucking $6. Like, it's the price of a coffee or something. Like, and what you're the money that you're going to pay for it will just go into the next album anyway. So like, it's not like we're going to become fucking billionaires over this shit. But like, yeah, I was thinking about Spotify, but I'm thinking I don't want people that listen to Spotify to listen to this band. Like this is it's underground music. Find it on Bandcamp and support the underground. And apart from that, yeah, Bandcamp, we've got that Instagram fucking thing, and that's about it. Apart from that, Shograath's Instagram or Drugoth Instagram, if you want to contact us about Deathorde. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right on. That's great because I kind of did the same thing with Scorpion Throne. Like I just have, I don't even have an Instagram for that, but I just have like the Bandcamp link for it, and that seems to be working out just fine.
That's the way to do it, man. Like, I don't know. I don't care about like I've got Drugoth um on Spotify, and then the whatever it is, DistroKid or something that I use. Um, they wouldn't let me upload like other bands, like my other projects or
Right.
anything, um, without paying for it again. So
Yeah.
what I did on the Drugoth Shograath split, it's uploaded as Drugoth, but in brackets in big letters it says Shograath.
Oh man.
So fuck them. I might even just like under Drugoth just upload Deathorde, but just put it in brackets in brackets Deathorde. If it really comes to that, but I don't know. Like this music, it's all just spite. Like you tell me I can't do something, fucking watch this.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much for joining us this week. And so anyone out there, definitely if you like brutal black metal, raw black metal, you know, inspired by Blasphemy and maybe Beherit, like that sort of classic raw sound, that's kind of what I get out of Death Horde a little bit too.
Oh,
Sick.
thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.